Hey everyone, I am Charting Man Dan, trader and technical analyst with The Chart Guys. If you have not seen it yet, check the comments in this video. I did an interview with Chat with Traders going over my story as a trader over the last 13 years. We're going to check in on the markets this video. We have the uranium sector continuing to break out and nobody cares. We've got the cannabis names with a pop and drop. We'll go over what it means in the short term. And the market's trying to shape up a bounce. I played Tesla today. I've got a swing position. We'll do a little trade review. So we had a gap down open this morning, and when we look for exhaustion moves, we tend to watch for the potential that gaps can help mark them. What about the gap down open on Thursday? Well, that wasn't necessarily an exhaustion move. That was the bears just getting going after one day of control. But after 3 full days of control, gap down open, and we get the bounce. So SPY confirmed the hourly uptrend right into the end of the day. If we break the high of today tomorrow, we know we're scouting a daily lower high to be the result of this bounce. The question will be, how long can the bulls maintain the hourly uptrend before that daily lower high is set? It's important to note the S&P 500 has a weekly downtrend. That increases the probability of the long-term tightening range into 2024, where if we fail this all-time high, this is the 3-month time frame, we pull back, we look for a higher low, and tighten up into the middle of 2024 at least. But the bears still need a bit of follow-through because the NASDAQ is still holding support. QQQ has not broken bear, and we know the SPY bears are not going anywhere unless QQQ breaks weekly support as well. So QQQ, hourly trend change, right into the end of the day, just barely getting there. Daily bounce trying to shape up. Bulls want to clear 361.80 to try and get back into some gap fill. Same deal. How long can bulls maintain the hourly uptrend, knowing the daily lower high is most likely? Is it less than 382 retracement for a bear flag? Is it 50% plus retracement for a trend change attempt? We'll get more information every single day. So I went long Tesla today after exiting. So just recap, went long back on August 21st. No, August 18th. And I sold partial, so my break even was 211s. I then rode it out and walked my stop up with the daily high or low every time one was set. And then I exited at 259 when we confirmed the daily downtrend. So Thursday morning, sold at 259. So locked in the 22% gain and then longed again today. And so my long today, while live streaming, was at 239.26. Day trade size position, sold some partial into strength. Break even is 237.75. Stop loss at that level and let it play out. And why did I long here? Number one, gap down open. Number two, 4-hour RSI. 4-hour RSI this morning was down in the low 20s. Last bounce that I played, it was down in the low 20s. Historically, zoom out, it can dip lower, but generally, low 20s is a good time to start looking long. In addition to that, we had the hourly RSI down, hitting 20 and getting into the teens first thing this morning. And so I was watching. I wanted to buy the gap down right away, but we had a bit of a higher open. So I watched this 1-minute drop on Tesla. And as soon as the NASDAQ held the low of pre-market, I made my entry. And that was at about 9. That was pretty quick to the low. That was 937. And again, if I had been wrong, I would have stopped out, $1 lower. But I actually did hesitate a little bit because I entered a day trade size position, which is larger. It took a little while for the Tesla bulls to shake off the relative weakness that it's had the last couple of days. Cathie Wood was selling last week, which was a factor. So I sized down just to be a little bit more conservative. And then after the bounce got going, I sold some more just under the high of the day and got down to a swing size position. So essentially, locked in the 22% swing trade and then reloaded the same position, now 8% cheaper. And in an ideal world, that's our weekly high or low. It is far too soon to have any confidence that this is the weekly high or low being set. But if I'm going to be in beast mode trading Tesla, that's the weekly high or low. We'll see. Hourly trend change into the end of the day. Tons of space for the daily lower high. We would need multiple days of bounce and then a confirmed daily uptrend for any confidence the weekly high or low is being set. So I'm going to let it play out. I'm either going to stop out, break even, or we're going to set that weekly high or low and head back up into the upper 250s. We'll follow along and see how it plays out. But that is my swing trade style, entering into weakness, entering a larger day trade size position, selling based on an hourly or shorter term time frame to get a good cost basis, and then trying to let the remaining position play out on the longer term time frames. CCJ and uranium. Daily bull flag confirmed. URA ETF. Daily bull flag confirmed on increasing volume. CCJ is now 10% from the all-time high. URNJ, low cap minor ETF. Look at that volume. All-time highs. Highest volume ever by 400%. So again, you don't want to be chasing these names, but how did the back burner, ChartGuys back burner indicator, how did URA go last week? Back burner fired, sets the daily higher low into continuation. We know our strongest uptrends are when back burners mark the longer term higher lows. And uranium is hot. You don't want to be chasing, but you want to be entering on consolidation. As soon as we saw the morning strength, we knew the next opportunity would be a 15-minute higher low for entry on consolidation. Once we set it, you can use that as a stop if you want to limit your risk. But uranium is in beast mode. At this point, I would want to wait for hourly consolidation if I were going to be looking for entry from here. Nobody cares about uranium. I know some of you are following along and some are benefiting, but it's just astounding. So much of my audience is crypto and cannabis and things like that. And it's just like, here's a monthly, weekly, daily uptrend. Here's something we've been tracking for a year and a half, and it's just nobody cares. It's fascinating. And that's one of the benefits to this sector. If everybody cared and everybody was talking about uranium, it'd be time to be selling and looking for a long-term top. And at this point, a patient bull is going to be waiting for a weekly higher low. In an ideal world, CCJ will give us weekly consolidation and a bull flag before testing all-time highs at 45.26. We'll see if that shapes up. The dollar is still very strong. Daily uptrend, daily EMA 12 as our guide. This is important to keep an eye on, not only for metals, but definitely putting downward pressure in the biotech sector, downward pressure in stocks to a certain degree. So keeping an eye on it, and the daily uptrend remains our guide. Gold, daily inside bars broke bear. 2-day time frame is tightening up. Bulls trying to hold 1901 for a higher low to continue this tightening range. Silver's got the weekly tightening range. Again, the bulls are fighting the current. It's got to see dollar weakness if these metals are going to have bull conviction. NVDA and semiconductors bouncing. A little bit of relative strength showed up on Friday after relative weakness for a couple of weeks. And the NVDA bulls are going to try and defend 400. If they do, we'll have to be cautious of a weekly head and shoulders potentially shaping up. But one step at a time, we're just looking for a daily lower high on this current bounce. And SMH, similar setup, but weaker in the sense that SMH did not break the high of Friday today, while NVDA did. Cannabis names, solid move up. CGC at one point today was up almost 20%. Inside bar broke bull at 87 and followed through significantly for, again, 15% plus. But we know the most likely scenario on this bounce is a daily lower high. We know a daily lower high is most likely, and we know a weekly higher low is most likely. What the heck? Those are both different directions. How can we make any sense of that? Well, we have to see a big enough daily bounce to create the space to set a higher low and higher high. When we confirm a daily uptrend, the weekly higher low is set. So bulls need to keep following through as much as possible to create that space. ACB, much weaker. Potential daily bear flag. If we drop down and break 70 cents, the daily downtrend continues. No sign of a weekly higher low. TLRY, finally holding on a bit better after relative weakness for weeks. It had relative strength compared to ACB and MSOS today. It was still weaker than CGC, but again, same deal. TLRY, anything under 322 is a daily lower high. Watch the bounce retracement size to determine probabilities. Anything under 382 favors a bear flag. Anything over 50% favors the space for a daily higher low next consolidation. Right now, we're approaching 382 retracement at 268. MSOS, pump, real strong morning, gave it all back. We knew a daily lower high was the most likely scenario before the bounce ever got going. Before the bell rang today, we know that because of this pullback size, when we bounce, we can go 30%, maybe a little bit less. We can go 20% and still be looking for a daily lower high to be the result of that bounce. And so here are the bears trying to set it very quickly. And we had a lot of dark pool orders today. There was a dark pool at 850, and that changed everything. No red flags, healthy consolidation, lower high, dark pool print, full bear control from there. Another dark pool print at 810. What's a dark pool? A dark pool is when a buyer and seller agree on a transaction off of the major exchange. If I've got 700,000 shares to sell, if I sell that on the open market, I'm going to crush the price. That's a ton of shares for the volume that MSOS trades. But if I call up Jimbo and say, hey, Jimbo, I got 700,000 shares, I'll give them to you at 2% under the current price. And he says, sure, I'll take those all at once for the other reason. If Jimbo wants 700,000 shares, he can't buy that on the open market or he's going to drive the price way up. So the dark pool is a way for transactions to be made off the exchange and at an agreed upon price. And both dark pool prints were a good bit under the bid and the ask. You just look at, the 1 minute time frame of this dark pool print at 810, and we just all out dumped multiple percent right to it. And then further from there. So now what? Well, if the bears confirm the daily downtrend, further weekly consolidation. If we drop down and break 762, the daily downtrend confirms, and at that point we'll be looking towards weekly EMA 12, still looking for a weekly higher low, but making a bull flag less likely. And we're looking towards safe later this week, Wednesday. If a government shutdown happens, that could delay it. A lot of people are saying safe doesn't even matter at this point. It's all rescheduling. Whatever, it's price. We knew the daily lower high was most likely. We'll see if the bears are able to drive it home. I'm interested in the biotech sector for a bounce tomorrow. I always hesitate saying something like that in these videos because I know someone is going to buy and try and bounce, and if it keeps dropping, they won't have a stop loss. And you have to have a stop loss. Just like today, the bounce attempt on Tesla, if I'm wrong, I have minimal risk. Less than 1%, I would have stopped out. And so XBI, I'd love a gap down tomorrow, but either way, there's a double bottom from today if the bulls can defend 71.59. This is some of the most extreme daily RSI that you'll see. Even the CVID dump, the daily RSI, did not get this beat up. So that has me interested in a short-term daily oversold bounce. Bigger picture, we're back in downtrends longer term, monthly, weekly, daily downtrend. And every bounce has set a monthly lower high. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And next time we bounce, anything under 90.90 will be just another lower high. But keep an eye out on the inverse relationship between the biotech sector and the dollar. The financial sector, trying to defend weekly support to fend off a weekly downtrend confirming. Right now, the most important weekly charts for me are Apple defending support, QQQ defending support, XLF defending support. If they break, bears get a clean sweep, big win. So they're defending for now. Again, we need big enough daily bounces to create the space to shape up daily trend changes to have any confidence that weekly supports can hold. I'm still in my KRE short from the last daily resistance zone. And at this point, I will move my stop down on the next daily lower high. Right now, it's sitting just above 43, risk-free. Worst case scenario will be a green trade. But trying to see if I can hold it a bit longer if we do get some further downside. If it were a larger position, I would have exited some today, but going to let it play out. IWM. Gap down open into the bounce. Bears in full control here as well. We're looking for a monthly higher low to try and form compared to 167. We've got about 5-6% space above that level, but no sign of it. Again, baby step number one for a monthly higher low would be a big enough bounce to create the space for the trend change on the daily. Oil, bears need to confirm the daily downtrend for anything to shift here. Bulls must defend 88.37. So far they're doing so. We'll see if that remains the case for the week. So we'll keep an eye on the Tesla bounce to see if it can follow through. We're going to gauge the bounces in the broader market for retracement size, watching the biotech sector for a daily oversold bounce, and then ideally, after a couple days of bounce, I'm scouting daily lower highs for shorts. But not just yet. I'd like a couple days of bounce first. Cross that bridge when we reach it. And I hope you had a good weekend. That's where we stand for now. Again, most important things for me, Apple weekly support, XLF, QQQ weekly supports. So I just got back from Tennessee Caverns, which is a great place to see a show. Probably the second most unique venue in the country, aside from Red Rocks. Red Rocks is grandiose, big, overlooking Denver. And you got, your giant rock. But you're in a cave here. And there's two caves. There's one that goes back at least 7 miles. You go in a few hundred yards, very low ceiling. And I'll post videos of it tomorrow. But sound healing, vibes, ambiance, just low-key laying down in a pitch-black cave. And the other one is a big cave, high ceiling, and music and really cool light shows off the textures of the cave. All in all, fun experience, low-key, small. There was probably 800 people there or something like that. And really cool people, made some friends. So the takeaway for me this weekend was just how glaringly obvious it is to me that my role in life is to not only be a helper, which is good, being a helper is good, but being an observant helper. Because so many people don't ask for help, and you need to observe, and you don't want to be getting up in people's business, but you observe people that need help, and then you go give them help. And if you're looking for purpose in life, just start helping people. And I obviously, do that with stocks and technical analysis, but it's far-reaching in my life, and it's just such a positive feedback loop of if I do this and help someone, I feel good about myself. They feel good that I helped them. And it's just like everybody elevates. And it's some examples of that from this past weekend. Let's see. So heading into the cave, the longer cave, low ceiling, there was an older woman. She was 70, and she was there by herself and clearly struggling with, shaky knees and weaker legs. And so I went up and asked her if she wanted a hand, and then, walked her arm in arm very slowly down the stairs, through the cave. And then after it was done, waited for her, because at that point I knew she was alone. How cool is it that a 70-year-old comes to a music festival by herself? But walked her back out again. And she was just immensely grateful. And the key was she didn't ask anybody for help. And whether that's pride or whatever, a lot of people don't ask for help, myself included. That's definitely a self-reflection as well. But as soon as I asked her, she was very grateful for the help because she needed it. Another example, some friends that I met, this goes with instant karma too. I love facilitating instant karma. It's one of my favorite things to do aside from helping. And examples of that are, I'm hanging out. I went to the show the festival by myself. I love doing things by myself and meeting new people or just being by myself. But I was sitting in the back of my car and, had said what's up to my neighbors already. But eventually one of them came over and, offered me a beer and, hey, do you want to come hang out? And so I said, yeah, and went and met, these 5 really cool people that were from across the country and were my neighbors. And so later in the night, Saturday night, second night, we're getting ready to go in. We're having a good time, playing some games. The shows are about to start. And they get a call from their dog sitter that, they just broke the key in the door and they can't get in to get the dog. And so they got to, it's Saturday night at that point. They got to call the locks with just stress, right? Nobody wants to deal with that when they're buzzed and about to be heading in for a good time. And so they're starting to stress. And through conversations prior, I knew that they were, one of them's from Italy and lives in the U.S. now, but they're both in between jobs. And so they started to stress about the cost of things. And so, my response is, I'll pay for it because that's not going to impact my weekend at all. And come to find out, 10-minute locksmiths make a killing. So if you're looking for a business, get into locksmithing. It ended up being like $450 for this dude to take 45 minutes of his night to fix the situation. But that was me paying it forward. Like, hey, you've been generous. You have been offering me drinks and hand sanitizer and food and anything that I want and to hang out with you. And absolutely, if it has zero impact on me and it's going to negatively impact on you, let's remove that stress. So instant karma. Another example of instant karma and being observant was walking in. These two guys definitely tripping, too many drugs, but complimented my shirt. Like, hey, nice shirt. Cool. Have a good time. And, 2-second conversation. And then the next night, I see one of them in the cave. No, it was that night, same night. See him in the cave, in the show, loud lights, all that going on. And one of them's carrying a bunch of water and drinks, and he is lost. He's looking for his brother and cannot find him. And I watch this dude do 4 laps, and I watch him go right behind his brother. And I know who his brother is because he complimented me on my shirt. And so I know what they both look like. And so I eventually said, all right, this guy's never going to find him. And so I went and grabbed him and took him to his brother, and I might as well have saved this dude's life. Put his arms around his brother's neck, and he was just so relieved. And the only reason that I was able to help that individual was, number one, I observed the whole situation while the show's going on, and number two, karma for complimenting my shirt. So if you are looking for purpose in life, do everything that you can to help those people around you. I find it astounding that so many people, my default in life is, how can I help you? That's a question that comes into my mind instantly when I'm interacting with people. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have the opposite. How can I get ahead of you? How can I see all these people. Anyways, I'm not going to keep ranting. It's already long enough at this point. We'll have some videos about the cave tomorrow. And as always, do good things.